been watching anime ever since I can remember, and doing what I do, one question I get asked is, what's your favourite anime? How does one answer that, hey? Making a favourites list is really a nightmare. It's like trying to choose your favourite child, except your children are 2D drawings that have consumed thousands of hours of your life and ruined your social skills. But here we are. These are the 20 that made me who I am. However, I am a man of theatricality, so while the order is mostly loose, I've saved my absolute top 3, the holy trinity of my existence, for the very end. I'm starting with the show that made me question my own humanity while blasting dubstep. Parasite perfectly balances philosophical horror with early 2010s edge, and I eat it up every time. I love the dynamic between Shinichi and Migi. It's the ultimate buddy cop duo, except the cop is a cold, logical alien living in your right hand who thinks emotions are stupid. One of my favourite character progressions in the medium is watching Shinichi slowly lose his empathy while Migi gains life. It doesn't drag. It tells a tight, complete story about survival and what it actually means to be alive. Plus, seeing a guy fight shape-shifting blade monsters while the soundtrack sounds like a Skrillex concert, that's a specific vibe I didn't know I needed until I found it. It's gruesome and it's thoughtful. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. This show, it broke me. If you want to feel bad about the state of the world, watch the news. If you want to feel bad but then feel an overwhelming, chest-tightening sense of brotherhood that makes you want to hug your friends, then you watch Rainbow. A story about 7 guys facing the absolute worst humanity has to offer: abuse, corruption, and humiliation. The color palette is 50 shades of brown and grey, reflecting the misery of their reality. But then you have Sakuragi. He's the big brother we all wish we had. You'll watch these guys crawl through mud, literally and metaphorically, just to carve out a sliver of their own happiness, which is more inspiring than any Power of Friendship laser beam I've ever seen. It is difficult to watch at times, mainly because it's gritty and ugly, but the payoff is a masterclass in emotional release. It taught me that even in the gutter, you can still look at the sky.
そうだろう。だから低下したんだよな。
やっと起き上がったが、この低下物。
千空、お前ゼロからこれを。
Battle shonen usually solve problems by punching them harder. Dr. Stone solves problems by inventing antibiotics, glass, and electricity. And somehow, that is infinitely more hype. I never thought I'd be on the edge of my seat screaming, "Let's go!" while watching a guy make ramen from scratch in the Stone Age, but oh well, here we are. This show turns science into a superpower without making it feel like a chemistry lecture, which I wish happened back when I was in college. Oh. I adore Senku as a protagonist because I somehow connect with how he operates on pure, unfeeling logic, yet his ultimate goal is the most sentimental thing possible, saving every single person on Earth, regardless of their utility. It's an optimistic celebration of human ingenuity in a genre obsessed with destruction. Dr. Stone is obsessed with creation. It taps into that primal Minecraft urge to build something from nothing. It makes you look at a light bulb or a smartphone and think, humanity is actually kind of awesome. It's educational in the weirdest way, and it's 10 billion% exhilarating.
こたびはよくぞ魔王を打ち倒した。これで世界に平和な時代が訪れよう。
Fantasy anime usually focuses on the grand quest to kill the Demon King. We all know how it works. However, Frieren is different. Frieren fascinated me because it starts after the credits roll. It's a show about the after, the quiet moments that happen when the war is over. And honestly, it ruined me. It's a slow, melancholic meditation on the passage of time and how we take moments for granted. Madhouse absolutely flexed on the production here. Even simple scenes of walking through a forest look like movie-quality cinema. I really appreciate how the anime lets the silence speak volumes. It doesn't need to scream to get your attention. It invites you to sit down, breathe, and reflect on the people you've lost and the memories you keep. When you watch Frieren, an elf with a near-infinite lifespan, retrace her steps to understand the friend she outlived is a narrative device that yields infinite emotional damage. It's cozy, but it carries a heavy heart. I have a video essay talking about this on ViniTube Kai, and I'll link it in the description. You should check it out after this video. trying to explain JoJo to a normal person makes you sound like a conspiracy theorist off their meds. So there are these Aztec fitness gods, and then breathing gives you sunlight powers, and then punch ghosts named after classic rock bands fight the Italian mafia. It makes absolutely no sense, and that's exactly why I love it.
Yes. Oh my god.
JoJo is an experience. It's a celebration of the weird, the fabulous, and the hyper-masculine absurdity of manga. I love it because every part reinvents the wheel. You go from Victorian horror to a murder mystery in a small town to a prison break in Florida. It never gets stale because Araki forgets his own rules constantly. But beyond the memes, and there are so many memes, the battles are tactical genius. It's not about who's stronger, it's about who can outsmart the other person in the most convoluted way possible. It's stylish, colorful, and unapologetically itself. It taught me that posing is a valid form of communication.
ビブを連れて早く物陰へ。
やっと会えましたね、ドクター天馬。
We need to talk about Johann Liebert. In the pantheon of villains, you have guys who want to rule the world, and then you have Johann, who just wants to watch it crumble while he smiles politely. Monster is a slow-burning thriller that feels less like an anime and more like a prestige HBO drama. It's grounded, gritty, and terrifyingly realistic. The story follows Dr. Tenma, a surgeon who saves a boy's life, only to realize he saved a sociopath. The cat-and-mouse game that ensues spans across Europe and dives deep into the psychology of evil. It doesn't rely on jump scares, it relies on atmosphere. It asks uncomfortable questions about the value of life and whether monsters are born or made. Now, I'm going to be honest with you here. It requires patience. It's 74 episodes of slow tension, but the payoff is a masterclass in storytelling. It's chilling in a way that sticks with you long after the screen goes black. It's a look into the abyss of the human soul.
なあ、ミツハ。目が覚めても忘れないようにさ。名前書いとこうぜ。ほら。
I know. Putting your name on a favorites list is like saying your favorite food is pizza. It's the basic choice. But you know what? I love pizza, and I absolutely adore this movie. I remember when I saw this, I went into it expecting a high-budget Freaky Friday. A goofy body swap rom-com with some pretty clouds. Instead, I got hit with a spiritual disaster thriller that fundamentally altered my brain chemistry. For me, it's not about Makoto Shinkai's obsession with hyper-realistic sunsets, it's about how he captures the abstract feeling of longing. I've never seen a piece of media so perfectly articulate that sensation of waking up from a dream and missing someone you've never met. It's an ache that I actually felt in my bones. And I have to talk about the music too. The second the guitar riff in Sparkle kicks in during the climax, now that's a core memory for me. Your Name might be mainstream, but it earned that status by making me care about two teenagers and a comet more than I care about my own real life friends. This movie is a weapon designed to destroy your tear ducts. Kyoto Animation decided to flex their lighting and character acting to tell a story about redemption that feels painfully real. It's not exactly a romance, it's a dissection of self-hatred. Ishida's journey from bully to social outcast to someone trying to find a reason to live is handled with such delicate nuance. The visual direction, specifically the X's on people's faces that represent Ishida's anxiety, is absolutely brilliant storytelling. It conveys isolation without saying a word. It tackles bullying and disability without being preachy, focusing instead on the messy, awkward path towards forgiveness. It's uncomfortable at times because it forces you to look at your own flaws, but by the end, when the X's fall away and the sound returns, you feel that release physically in your chest. It's a film that tells you it's okay to like yourself, and I think that's a message that we all need to hear. This is the entry fueled by pure, unfiltered nostalgia. Naruto is the reason I'm here, and also the reason I met my wife. It's the show that dragged me back into Battle Shonen when I thought I was too cool for anime. Is it perfect? No. The war arc is a mess, there are way too many fillers, pacing can be a mess in some arcs, and the animation is inconsistent. But the Chunin exams? The pain arc? I mean, that's legendary status. It built a world that felt vast and full of history. Watching Naruto go from the kid on the swing to the Hokage is a journey that we all all took together. It taught an entire generation about the will of fire. The soundtrack alone, sadness and sorrow, can trigger a Pavlovian emotional response in millions of people. It's the gateway drug, isn't it? It's got arguably the best fights in shonen history and moments that define the medium. It is flawed, but it's family. You don't choose family, you just love them. Now let me tell you this, okay? We legit played Naruto's theme song on our wedding day. That's how much this anime means to me.
ジャボンディ諸島で再会した3人はついに天下一中忍ハンターヒーロー試験を受けるのだったがだねーよ！何なんですかこのあらすじ！
I honestly don't know how to explain Gintama without sounding like I've lost my mind. This show is a professional shitpost that accidentally became a masterpiece. It's the only anime that dares to spend an entire episode apologizing for not having a budget, joke about getting sued for copyright infringement by other Jump authors, and make a dick joke about a Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon, all while being hailed as one of the greatest stories ever told. But the reason Gintama is on my list isn't just because it's funny, it's because of the emotional whiplash. It tricked me. I spent 50 episodes laughing at a lazy samurai picking his nose, only to be suddenly hit with a bloody, visceral sword fight about PTSD and found family that rivals the best of Rurouni Kenshin. Gintoki is my favorite protagonist because he has zero ambition. He doesn't want to be the pirate king, he just wants to pay his rent and drink strawberry milk. And yet, watching him fight to protect his useless everyday life hit me harder than any destined hero speech ever could. It's a fever dream with a soul of gold, and I miss it every single day.
生徒の前なんでね。
かっこつけさせてもらうよ。
If Naruto is the classic rock of shonen, JJK is the modern punk scene. It's slick, it's stylish, and it's got zero respect for your feelings. Mappa turned the animation dial to 11 and ripped the knob off. The combat system, Cursed Energy, is complex enough to be interesting, but flashy enough to look cool on TikTok. But you know what I really and truly liked about this anime? The horror element. It's not afraid to kill characters. It raises the stakes by showing that the good guys don't always win, and even when they do, they lose pieces of themselves. It feels dangerous. It's pure adrenaline distilled into 20-minute episodes. Plus, Gojo Satoru exists, and the collective internet thirst for that man is a cultural phenomenon on its own. It's pure style, but it has the substance to back it up. Honestly, Durarara is the kind of narrative chaos that I just can't get enough of. I'm struck by how insane the lineup is. You've got a headless Dullahan on a motorcycle, a bartender who throws vending machines like they're frisbees, and an information broker who loves humanity in the most twisted way possible. The storytelling acts like a giant living web. I'll watch a single event unfold from 3 different perspectives until that aha moment finally hits and the full picture clicks into place. It's one of those rare shows that actually rewards me for paying attention to the details. Between the jazz fusion soundtrack and the way the anonymous chat room bleeds into reality, the whole thing feels incredibly ahead of its time. It perfectly captures that specific, electric feeling of being in a massive city where everyone is hiding a secret and your life can collide with the strangers in the weirdest, most violent ways. It's total controlled chaos, and I absolutely love getting lost in it. Look, let's address the elephant in the room here, okay? Does the quality drop after that character kicks the bucket? Yeah, sure it does. Do I care? Absolutely not. Because the first 25 episodes of Death Note are arguably the tightest, most adrenaline-pumping run in anime history. I mean, this show somehow turns scribbling names in a notebook into an Olympic sport. The mental chess match between Light and L isn't just good, it's iconic. Operatic even. I mean, I still get chills thinking about that dramatic choral music swelling while a guy literally just eats a potato chip. For me, this was the show that legitimized anime for so many people who thought anime was just for kids. Light Yagami is the ultimate protagonist villain. I found myself rooting for him just to see how far he'd push the envelope, even as I watch him morph into a total monster. It's a psychological thriller that actually respects my intelligence, and for the first half alone, it deserves its legendary status. Just as planned is permanently etched into my brain. This is a story about how violence destroys the soul, wrapped in a Viking epic. Season 1 is a revenge tragedy, showing Thorfinn consumed by rage. It's brutal and action heavy. But Season 2, now, That's where it becomes a masterpiece. It takes the boldest risk I've ever seen, stripping away the action to focus on farming and pacifism. I have no enemies. That line is the thesis statement. Watching Thorfinn learn to build instead of destroy is profound. It challenges the very idea of what it means to be a warrior. Wit Studio and Mappa treated this adaptation with such reverence. The backgrounds, the music, the character growth, it all feels like literature. It's a mature, slow-burning fire that warms you rather than burns you. It's an anti-war story that actually understands the cost of war, not just on the body, but on the mind.
俺に敵なんかいない。
お、ラボ創設者にして狂気のマッドサイエンティスト。
どうした？
消えてるバナナが。
この俺、王隠居。
Steins Gate completely pulled the rug out from under me. What starts as this goofy slice-of-life comedy about a Chunibyo mad scientist slowly morphs into the most stressful, heartbreaking thriller that I've ever experienced. I honestly connect with Okabe Rintaro more than any other protagonist I've watched. Not because I harbor delusions of being a mad scientist, but because I know that visceral feeling of desperation, of trying to fix something over and over again and only to keep failing. Watching his persona crack until he's just a broken man begging for help was absolutely gut-wrenching. Mamoru Miyano's voice acting here isn't just a performance, it feels like a raw nerve being exposed. It's a story about the terrifying weight of consequences, and it left me staring at my ceiling at 4 AM, completely and emotionally exhausted. To me, it's the only time travel story that actually cares about the traveler than the time itself.
何度タイムリープしたって 1% の壁は越えられない。
やってみなきゃわからないだろう。
でもいい影響は与えられなかった。もういい。お互い負けでいい。
I almost didn't watch this one because of the art style. I personally thought it looked like a messy doodle. I was an idiot. Yes, I was. In a medium obsessed with being special or the chosen one, this series looked me in the eye and said, having powers doesn't make you better than anyone else. Now that hit me. I resonate so deeply with Reigen Arataka, not just because he's hilarious, but because he represents that terrified adult part of me. Yet he becomes the greatest mentor in anime. When I watch Mob struggle to express his emotions, it kind of felt like watching my own teenage years on screen. And I'm sure it may just be true for you watching this video too. It's a visual acid trip, sure, but beneath the psychic battles, it's a warm, gentle reminder that it's okay to be weak, it's okay to run away, and that real strength comes from accepting who you are. It's the most wholesome thing I've ever seen.
僕ができること。これは僕じゃない。やめろー！
This is the gold standard, plain and simple. The yardstick I measure absolutely everything else against. To me, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the most complete package on this list, and I'd argue it has zero weaknesses. It's amazing how the world building, the alchemy, the political intrigue, and the characters are all tightly woven into this perfect narrative circle. I was really impressed with how it manages to balance goofy slapstick humor with heavy topics like genocide and war crimes without ever giving me tonal whiplash. The Elric brothers' journey feels perfectly paced, and the ending is actually satisfying, which is a rarity in a medium full of fizzled finales. It doesn't rely on cheap cliffhangers or mystery boxes, it just trusts its solid writing. This is the one show I force on friends who claim they don't watch anime because it works every time. It's a story about the cost of ambition and the value of humanity, and in my book, it nails every single beat. I rarely meet people who enjoy watching Fate series as much as I do. I know it's confusing and you never know where to start, but if there's one exception, watch Fate Zero. Written by the Urabuchi Gen, the man who feasts on tears, this is a battle royale where everyone loses. It takes historical figures, makes them fight to the death for a wish-granting cup, and treats it with the seriousness of a Greek tragedy. Geritsugu Emiya is a fascinating lead, a utilitarian killer who wants to save the world by murdering the few to save the many. The clash of ideologies psychologies between the servants is just as gripping as the fights. And the fights, Ufotable, you beauty. It looks gorgeous. It's dark, cynical, and visually spectacular. It takes the concept of heroes and drags it through the mud to see what's left. It is depressing, but I gotta say, it's also beautiful. This is the show that ruined other battle shonen for me. Hunter x Hunter looks like a colourful Saturday morning anime at first, but it's a dense, complex deconstruction of what it means to be a hero and a monster. I love it because it refuses to hold my hand. The power system, Nen, is one of the best in fiction, but it's the morality that hooks me. The Chimera Ant arc is, in my opinion, the greatest arc in anime. Watching Gon, the happy-go-lucky kid, descend into absolute darkness while Meruem, the literal monster, finds his humanity through love, that dynamic challenged me. It forced me to ask who I was actually rooting for. It's not just a fight, it's a philosophical debate happening at the speed of sound. It's dark, it's uncomfortable, and it treated me like an adult. It's a masterpiece that I'm constantly chasing the high of.
その時思い出した。そうだ、この世界は残酷なんだ。
When I look back on my life as an anime fan 10 years from now, Attack on Titan is absolutely going to be the centerpiece. I still vividly remember the visceral zombie horror shock of season 1, feeling like humanity was just cattle, only to be completely floored by the jarring shift into a complex political war drama by the end. I love it because Hajime Isayama acts like a total lunatic genius, planting seeds in the very first episode that didn't bloom for a literal decade. That basement reveal didn't just answer my questions, it fundamentally changed the entire genre of the show. And then there's Eren Yeager, easily the most divisive, complex protagonist I've ever followed. Watching his agonizing transformation from a loudmouth victim into a cold-blooded oppressor felt like a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions to me. It captures the cycle of hatred and the terrifying cost of freedom better than most history books, and when you combine that narrative weight with Hiroyuki Samano's apocalyptic soundtrack, music that makes the end of the world feel beautiful, you get something that transcends anime. Now, I know the ending is controversial and totally split the fanbase, but honestly, I respect the messiness. A story this complex couldn't have a clean, happy bow on top, and I'm fine with that. It's violent, it's controversial, and without a doubt, it's my number one. For all the times people have asked me, what's your favorite anime? This video is it. I know. Where's One Piece? Where's Evangelion? Look, the comment section is right there. Go ahead and roast my taste. But these are the ones that have really stuck with me. Now, I'm planning more personal videos for this channel, breaking down my absolute favorite anime arcs and doing deep dives into specific characters that I just can't stop thinking about. So if you want to see me cry over fictional backstories for 20 minutes, stick around.